at the table before getting started. So thank you, everyone. We have a great agenda for this evening. I'm going to be sharing some slides. We're going to be sharing some stuff. I'm still getting some messages here from people who are in the process of joining. So we'll just give everyone about 30 seconds before getting started. We're joined by Manu, who is the CEO of Dfinity, one of our partners, and Paul, technical analysis wizard, who has correctly foretold every market change since 1682. No, I'm joking. But he knows the markets and he knows trading. So we're going to be hearing from them a little bit. So we've got some people joining us at the table. We're just going to be getting started once they sit down. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Flo and Chris. And it looks like we've got a couple of others as well. So there we go. Fantastic. Well, thank you, everyone. It's really great to have you here. So we're slowly getting a trickle of people in. I just wanted to remind everyone who's here in the Metaverse with me that we actually are streaming this on YouTube. So we have some people who they're on mobile, they couldn't figure out how to use the Metaverse. So just as a quick housekeeping announcement, we do have some people, it looks like, that have dialed in online as well on YouTube. And we want to give a quick welcome to those who are joining us on LinkedIn. This is our very first Metaverse meetup. So I think it's a great time to be here. So since this is a kind of interactive format, I wanted to suggest that rather than me just speaking, I'll be speaking most of the time, but I wondered if we could maybe introduce ourselves. So why don't we go around and if you don't want to say your real name, you don't have to. You can say your screen name or an alias. You don't have to turn your camera on. You don't even have to turn your video or your microphone on. But it looks like there's about 8 of us here at the table. So let's go around. So it looks like we've got 2 Chris's. So we'll go from my clockwise. So Chris number 1. The one with the hat, maybe you'd like to introduce yourself either through the messenger, by typing, or by unmuting yourself or turning your camera on and just saying hi and introducing yourself.
Hi there, Hayden. It's Chris. I'm one of Manu's colleagues and co-founders at Dfinity. So yeah, listen, for everybody else, we're really excited about this, and Manu's going to be doing all the talking today, but you know, I'm happy to sort of jump in and chime with any other questions that people have as we go on. But listen, pleasure to meet you all and super to be in the Metaverse.
Fantastic. Welcome. So let's go to the other Chris, if you'd like. Excuse me. And I am not suffering from COVID, but I do have a cough. I've tested myself 10,000 times. So I do have a cough, unfortunately. So Chris number 2 with the black vest, would you like to introduce yourself, either typing, unmuting and talking, or even turning on your camera? Love to hear from you. Okay, let's move on. And Chris, we can come back to you. I know you sometimes dial in with your phone. So let's go to Paul, who's the other one who's doxed here, camera on. Do you want to introduce yourself? Oh, Chris, you got it. Chris, you unmuted yourself. Did you want to say hi?
Hi Hayden, how's it going? Sorry, I've just switched from my AirPods to an actual plug-in headset, but now I can't actually hear anything. So
oh gosh.
Bear with me a second.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Yeah, hello everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, I should be able to speak properly.
Fantastic. Welcome, Chris. Great to have you here. Okay, Paul, you're up. Do you want to unmute yourself and say hi?
Paul?
Oh, maybe he's got some settings.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I thought you were talking to basically one of our guests. So yeah, hi. I'm Paul Rodriguez. I'm from Dfinity. I do the technical analysis, and it's great to be here. I'd love to think of a really funny handle to have, but I can't. So I'm just Paul. So great to be here. This is my first time in this metaverse, and it's a lot of fun actually. But yeah, so I'll hand back and to the next person. Great to be here.
Fantastic. And maybe Amber, if you'd like to go and get our guests outside, we've got a couple, maybe someone needs to stay at the door. We've got a couple people who are just joining us. Okay, who's up next? Flo __Flo ___. Would you like to briefly introduce yourself? You can do it by text or you can do it by unmuting.
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Florian. Nice to be here. I'm one of the co-founders of Dfinity as well. So I'm here with Chris and Manu and really excited. First time in Metaverse too. So yeah, I like it so far.
Fantastic. Well, for all of our first timers, welcome. We won't try to sell you any Metaverse real estate, but next call, maybe you'll be on the hook for a sales pitch.
We'll be here.
Fantastic. How about Alexi? Would you like to introduce yourself? Okay. Got a lot of movement happening here. So Amber, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Amber. So I'm actually the marketing director for Alpha Impact. So nice to meet you guys in the Metaverse.
Fantastic. Thank you, Amber. Okay, great. We might actually get started. So I have some slides I'm going to be presenting. Let me just share those. Window. Okay, so welcome. We're here. We're live. It's very exciting. We're in the Metaverse. Let me just silence these notifications. So this is our first annual year in review. So we're a pretty new company. So we're here to talk a little bit about 2021, what went well, what's happening, what we're excited about, and our mission and vision. And again, I can feel a bit of a cough coming on, so I apologize in advance if I do have to briefly pause to cough. The agenda for this evening, we're going to be talking a little bit about our mission and the team and who we are as Alpha Impact. So who are we and what do we believe in? The second thing, we want to talk a little bit about our post-launch updates. So we've launched our copy trading product. We want to tell you what's happened since then, basically. What's coming up in 2022, I think, is a really exciting topic, and our partnership with Dfinity. So we have several members of the Dfinity team who are here, and Manu from the team is going to be sharing a little bit about Dfinity, our partnership. We actually have a prize that's available. So we have it's kind of like a sweepstakes where I won't spoil the fun, but Manu's got some great stuff. And then Paul from the Dfinity team will be sharing a little bit about where we are in the market cycle. So a big question on a lot of people's minds today is really where are we in the market cycle? Is this a correction? Is this a bear market? Is crypto finished? Is it going to zero? I know there's lots of folks with different views on this. So we're going to be moving forward. So just in terms of our mission, I wanted to share how we started and the problem that we really set out to solve here at Alpha Impact. So when we started, Austin, my co-founder, and I really saw that crypto there's no lack of information. And in fact, you could almost say there's a signal to noise ratio problem. And what I mean by that is that there are just so many people in crypto sharing information that it can be deafening for new people or beginners to try to figure out how crypto works, what is the metaverse, what are NFTs, what is DeFi. It's very confusing. And there are a lot of different and conflicting views. And so the problem that we see is really a transparency problem. Today, you can go online and you can find dozens or hundreds or thousands of different opinions. And some people will say Bitcoin is going to zero. Some people will say Bitcoin is going to 1 million. And with Bitcoin, it's less difficult to figure out what you think, right? But with some of these new coins, it's much harder because there's not as much information, not as much history. And so the problem that we see is that it's really very challenging to figure out, to filter the noise from the signals, which signals are something you want to pay attention to, and the noise is something you want to tune out. And so the solution we came up with was to build Alpha Impact. And so sorry, excuse me. Alpha Impact is, I would say, a mix between a trading platform where we have copy trading, So you can copy our top traders, you can copy what they do in their real portfolio, and a social media platform. So the idea is that we're helping our customers to find a top trader, figure out what that top trader is doing, and we bring transparency to the table. So our platform looks a little bit like Twitter, but the difference is that all the traders on our platform have actually connected their exchange account directly to our platform. So for customers, that means that you can actually see exactly what a trader's doing. You don't have to believe whatever they're saying. You can actually see their real trades. And the other thing that it means is that when you go and copy trade that person, you don't actually have to go and log into your exchange. So you connect your exchange account once to Alpha Impact. And then after that, you can actually go ahead and execute trades directly from our platform. So that's our mission. Let me talk to you a little bit about our team. So you obviously know me. My name is Hayden Hughes. I'm the CEO. I come from a legal background. And prior to attending law school, I actually sold my first company. And I've held my crypto roles have included leadership roles at Crypto.com and Techmate, which is an investment bank. My co-founder, Austin, comes from the technology side. So he spent 15 years at JP Morgan and another bank building trading systems for banks, hedge funds, and financial intermediaries. And so I think he's got a fantastic set of product and technical skills that I really don't have. And I have some strategy, growth, front office skills. So we're a really great team. A little bit about our two advisors. So Magnus is the CEO at Antler, and Antler was actually our first investor. Magnus has been very helpful. And Dominic has actually done 2 IPOs. He's one of our other advisors. And so both of these gentlemen appear that they'll become investors in short order. And Dominic has actually done an IPO for a crypto company. And I would be remiss if I didn't share a little bit about our team. So we have several of our teammates here on the call. We actually have 9 colleagues in 2 different continents. So I wanted to give a quick thank you to our amazing team. So since we've launched, we've launched obviously our selective copy trading. So what that means is that our platform can be used, and you can copy trade in real life. So our top traders are on our platform today, and you can copy them. And I think we even have some on this call. So we've integrated with Binance, which is the world's biggest exchange, and we also have we're in the process of finalizing the integration with FTX. So FTX is a great platform for traders, really excited about these 2 exchanges. We've also implemented some security upgrades. So those that have been with us for a little while will know that when we first started, our platform didn't actually have trading functionality, but that's changed. And so our thinking around security has changed as well. So we've standardized our security processes. We've implemented 2FA, password updating. Those passwords have all been changed for all of our users. So and we've done about, I think, 100 plus other security updates. So at least that I've seen. So there's a lot that's changed behind the scenes. I can't share all of our security updates, but the way we think about ourselves internally is that we need to think about ourselves as being as secure as an exchange. And the last part is user growth, diversity, and gains. So we're, of course, supported by a diverse team that comes from different cultures and different countries. And our users come from different places as well. So Singapore, the United States, Western Europe, and Southeast Asia are all important areas for us. And let me just come out, and it looks like there is a unmuted person. Oh, no, they figured it out. Okay, so our users also come from 169 countries. So we're really excited we're working on, by the way, increasing this. It looks like Papua New Guinea is not yet on our list of customers. So we're working on it. And we also have a couple of other countries that are, as you can see, not yet on our list. So our growth and focus comes from Singapore and Southeast Asia, Western Europe, and the US. But as you can see, the users come from far and wide. And a little about the results. And people also often ask us, how are we different to other platforms? And I want to give a quick shout out to Chris. His top return over the last little while is actually better than many of the number one. So Chris is our number 1 trader, and his top return of 250-something% over the past year, excuse me, is better than the number 1 result for a lot of other platforms. So, and of course, you can see our recent winner of our competition. He's returned 72%, and the S&P it's annualized at 7%. So that's a little bit about the results that we generate. This one, our risk-adjusted returns, on a risk-adjusted basis, our top risk-adjusted trader is better than the stock market as well. Our user growth has been fantastic. We have over 3,000 users, and our users spend 14 minutes on our platform. So if you can believe it, people actually spend more time on Alpha Impact than they do on Reddit, Facebook, or Twitter. So what's coming in 2022? So there's a couple of things here, and we have a really exciting partnership with Dfinity, and the CEO, Manu, is going to be sharing some details very soon about how their technology set will help us. They have some great technical analysis. There's an Anomaly report. I don't want to steal his thunder, but we're pretty excited. And so we're going to be launching some staking pools. We're launching monetizations so that our traders can get paid. We're, of course, very focused on automatic copy trading. We'll also be introducing credit card payments. We recognize that some people are brand new. They might not want to trade crypto. They might just want to get access to certain traders. And so that will be something that they can do with credit cards. We're also focused on a centralized exchange listing when it makes sense this year. We have an amazing platform that we haven't quite finalized yet, but it's going to be for a small group of really exclusive traders. So we'll be looking to bring on expert traders, kind of amateur traders, people from trading companies, as well as some of our top customers. And we want to have people from governments, from industry, from trading firms. And so that'll be capped at about 100 people. So that's actually not open to the public. But if you want to get an invitation, feel free to send us a DM. We're making a short list of invites, which we'll be sending out. We also have a lot of referral benefits that we're going to be offering. So our idea is pretty simple. If you help us get someone else to become a customer, then we want to make it easy for you. And we'll have a guided tour on our platform. So we have a giveaway. There's going to be $240 worth of tokens that we're giving out to 10 different winners. So I'll let Manu talk a little bit more about this in detail, but let me just share the first step of what needs to be done. So this is for people, and we're going to share a link with you. So all you have to do is follow one link after this, so you don't need to worry. So you can create an account on Alpha Impact using your email registered. So you actually will need to follow the Gleam link, and I'll find the link so I can actually share it in the chat while Manu is speaking. So you'll just have to follow the link to this Gleam competition. You'll have to connect your trading account to our platform, follow a trader you like, and then just put some information into the gleam.io page. So I want to hand over, I'm going to stop sharing my slides, and I want to hand over briefly to Manu from Dfinity, who's going to share a little bit more about the partnership as well as the competition. And then we'll hear some insights from Paul from Dfinity about the market. So let me just stop sharing and we will come back. All right, Manu, over to you.
Hey, Hayden, thanks so much. Hey guys, I'm Manu Chaudhry. I'm the co-founder of Dfinity Markets. And essentially Dfinity Markets is an institutional marketplace, an institutional ECN and DeFi marketplace for cryptocurrencies and central bank digital currencies. The difference between us and an exchange is that an exchange holds our assets. We don't. We work by custodians, and we work exclusively with banks and hedge funds. Now, the reason that we were really keen to have a partnership with Alpha Impact was principally because we are building and have built some very cutting edge technology. And essentially, we were looking for the most efficient way to get this to as broad a demographic of users as possible. And this is technology that is currently used by some of the world's largest hedge funds and banks. And via this partnership that we have, you will be able to access this. So essentially, the first thing, and Paul will probably give you a bit more detail, as we have weekly TA that Paul does. You'll be able to get access to that again for free. And the other thing that is super, super exciting is a piece of technology we built in conjunction with another partner firm, Axion AI. And this is essentially market anomaly detection. And I guess the easiest way of describing market anomaly detection without boring everyone is to make, well, two fundamental things. One, this uses true AI. And what I mean by true AI is the transition from humans telling computers how to act to computers learning how to act without being told. That's the fundamental nuance of deep learning AI. And to use an analogy, I guess, if you've seen the movie The Matrix, the anomaly detector essentially works by essentially picking out of the crowd the woman in the red dress. That's very simplistically how the anomaly detector works. And it allows you to really make some essentially some very, very good risk management trades. So I'll give you, for instance, yesterday the Anomaly sector went off the charts, indicating there was likely to be a reversal. It's not guaranteed that yesterday was the low, but it seems probable that it might be. And again, we'll probably look for another confirmation signal later today to again get an update on where that actually sits. But again, you'll be able to access this via our partnership. So again, look, super excited to be sharing these incredible insights, and again, helping everyone upskill themselves and learn more about trading. And just give you a brief background about me and the team. Again, most of us have a finance or electronic trading background or blockchain background, and we are very, very experienced traders of the market. And essentially, in terms of the Glean competition, to be fair, I think maybe it makes sense to post a link to go through all the tasks. But essentially, from our perspective, what we would keen to do is have people download the Clarity app and essentially do a couple of other tasks that would put you in the running for the sweepstakes, which is about I think about $250, $240 of USDT, and also the native tokens of both Dfinity and Alpha Impact. But that's kind of it. I'll give that to you, Hayden.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. It looks like we have a number of people who are not fully at the table. I'm not sure if they're trying to get in or what's happening. So I don't know if they can hear us. Lowry, Shahab, can you hear us? No, I don't think they can. So, okay. Well, I'm powerless. I can't leave the table now. So thank you so much, Manu. I really appreciate it. So next, I'd like to share I'd like if Paul could join us and share a little bit of information about the market. So I think the real question we're trying to answer here is, are we at the bottom of the market? Where are we in the market cycle? So Paul, I'd love to introduce you to have you introduce yourself and share some information about where we are in the markets today.
Thank you, Hayden. It's great to be here, and hi everybody. Just to give you a bit of background about who I am and what I do. I started looking at the markets in the early 90s, trading as a private investor, and I got into technical analysis by trading on my own, and then ended up at the City University in London teaching a course on technical analysis and working for major institutions in the city. So I had all the major institutional guys who wanted to learn about how to trade coming on my course and going into the city back then. Winding forward, I set up a company to help teach and explain what technical analysis is about. And up to date, more recently, worked with Manu and Dfinity and producing a weekly research document, which is very similar to what I would be producing professionals when I work for an institutional bank. And so basically, I have a long history of looking at all the markets. My job, as far as I'm concerned, is to look at absolutely everything. But of course, we've got this new asset which is extremely exciting. And I think Hayden and us, we were kind of talking just before we came in about Bitcoin being new, and Bitcoin being the old technology and all the new technology that comes along. If we think about how that how that works and the advantages and the disadvantages, the advantages of Bitcoin is something that everybody knows, and but the advantages of the new technology, which is what everybody's bringing in now, is it can build on everything else that's been done before. So both have tremendous advantages and disadvantages. But what we're looking for, or what I'm looking for, is the technical patterns tell me whether we're going to be moving into a major trend, whether investors are interested in the short term and long term in buying. And these patterns are the same across all markets. So everything or anything that you've learned from one market, you can apply and move into another market. So all the markets, as far as I'm concerned, are very, very much the same from a technical perspective. I keep my technicals very simple. There are people out there who use loads of moving averages and oscillators, and they try to kind of battle with lots of information that doesn't actually say whether they want to buy it or sell it. And I try to simplify that every week, just give my opinion. Now, obviously, sometimes that's very difficult because the markets aren't clear. And just because you use the chart, it doesn't mean you know exactly where the market's going to go at every single point. But there are times when you can be very sure about where the market's going to go. And one of the main strategies I've been looking at is with putting everything together has been that the dollar looks like it's going to be going up. That has put pressure on the currencies and every other market. US yields have been going up, and that is an important thing because it takes money, people who borrow money to invest in other places, that makes it more expensive. So the fact that yields have been going up and the Fed have been talking about increasing interest rates, we've seen the effects in the stock market, and obviously that has to have some form of impact in the market. But the real question is, where now for Bitcoin, and is this the end of it? Is Bitcoin going to zero? Well, I think absolutely not. I mean, why would it go to zero? It's an incredible technology. What we're all looking at here is amazing technology that we're right at the beginning of, because the general public still have really very little idea about any of this stuff. And so whilst people have been in this for a long time, and I was looking at Bitcoin in 2010, you might think, well, it's been around for a long time. But for most people, this is still something that is completely and utterly new and has a long way to go. So when I look at the recent price action that we've seen and think, well, it could potentially be a greater correction. The market could obviously go a bit lower, but I don't think we have completed a major cycle in this, in as much as there hasn't been major participation. I know that from friends and family around me who are just not interested in cryptocurrencies at the moment, and I know they will be, especially with the Metaverse coming on. So from a charting perspective, people were very bullish around $69,000, and the people who were calling for 100,000, and I thought that was possible, to be fair, but we had to hold up on those highs. The sentiment that we had near those highs is kind of mirrored by how gloomy everyone suddenly got near these lows. So the market, I would love to have been able to show a chart of my my screen, but unfortunately I can't do that.
Paul, it looks like you're frozen, so I hope we have you back. You may want to turn off your video just for a few seconds and see if that fixes things. Okay. Well, Paul is just getting unfrozen, so I'll jump straight in. So there's a question that I'm going to ask Paul, and I'll just share it with the table here. And so what we'll do is we'll have a bit more of a conversation with Paul, and then we'll actually open up the floor. So I think Paul is just on his way back in. The question that I wanted to ask Paul was just around this idea of $100,000 Bitcoin. And there's a valuation method that you might want to call it, where Bitcoin is valued according to this model called the stock to flow model. And I was intending on asking Paul what his views were on this model, given what's actually happened over the last little while. You'll recall that we saw, I think it was an 80-something% decline in 2018. 2019, it went up and went straight back down. So I think it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
oh, you're here. You're back.
I think there's just something gone wrong with my system here, so I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
We can.
Something may have gone wrong with the system, so I don't know.
Looks a little better now. We can definitely see you. Now I can't hear you. Can't hear anything. Okay.
I think we've got a big lag now. Could you? Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It seems okay now.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, there have been some major reversals in Bitcoin's history, and I guess that's why people who buy it are called hodlers, because the retracements are massive, but so are the upside moves as well. So it's all part and parcel of new technology and a development of a major trend. So I don't think we've hit that final peak yet, because we haven't seen that peak in sentiment. But when we see it, I will report about it. But for the moment, I still think the dips are an opportunity to buy for the long term.
Yeah, and there's something that I often think about, which is what December 2017 felt like. And I know there's some people here on the call who probably were around at that time, but Paul, perhaps you could share with the audience your perception of what that felt like at that point in time, because December 2017 was a crazy market top. And at that time, I developed a sense of this is what a top looks like. And I'm not sure I've felt that at any point subsequently.
It felt like now, in terms of, and it always feels like that. It always feels like that's the end. It feels like, that you get a lot of negative press. You see, you have to remember that the places like Bloomberg and Yahoo News, places like that will always give you what the public want, and that is what they're thinking about now, and what reflects what the price action has done, but not where it's going to go next. So as soon as the markets are dropping, then you'll just get a load of people coming out of the woodwork saying how it's all going to go to zero, and then
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on. Paul seems to be having some connectivity issues.
Paul, maybe you can turn your video off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Now my system seems to have frozen. So
that's okay. It's all the crypto mining you're doing. So yeah, maybe what we'll do, Paul, I'll just invite you to finish that kind of thought, and then we've got a reasonable number of people here at the table. So I'd like to actually open the floor. Paul, you did cut out there for a second, so maybe you could just share, repeat again what you were saying before.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but my system seems to have completely frozen. I'm not sure why. So if you can hear me, great.
We can.
I can't switch anything off. So my stupid expression here is stuck. So sorry about that. But all I was saying was that you've got to be careful about looking at headlines and sentiment, because they're very much likely going to be completely the opposite of where the market's going to go. So this is why we use technical analysis and forward-looking indicators that tell us where the market's going to go, not news headlines. In fact, we only use news headlines when we want to go against what the news is saying. And so the fact that everybody's talking about Bitcoin being over and sub 20,000 and all that sort of stuff, that's really good news. That means it's very unlikely to go there.
Yeah, I agree. So I would actually like to open the discussion up a little bit. So if you would like to unmute yourself and ask a question, feel free to do so. If you want to raise your hand, there is a little emoji button. So feel free to raise your hand if you want to share something. Otherwise, if you have questions, feel free to just unmute yourself, or you can post them in the chat as well. I think we should be having an interactive discussion, and I'd love to hear some other views about where people think we are in the market cycle. So is there a sense at this table, for example, that we are in a bull market, that this is a healthy correction, or do we think that we are in the midst of a correction, or do we think it's a bear market? So I'll open the floor and love to hear some thoughts, maybe from other Chris, the one that doesn't work for Dfinity, if you have any ideas, or anyone else who's here as well. We've got, it looks like more than 10 of us here now. And welcome to those that have just joined.
Hey Hayden, how's it going?
Hey, good to see you.
Yeah, sorry about the previous attempt to try and speak. Didn't work out too well. But yeah, hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, my kind of outlook on the market right now is a bit conservative. Just being a bit careful. I'm slowly laddering in cash, which I'm sure people have seen from my trades. Everyone got hit quite hard in the last week or 2 weeks, but that's the nature of the game, nature of the beast. I think a lot of the perspective I have is a lot of the things I'm buying now, even though I've been averaging in and kind of buying in at prices I already kind of lost some value in the last few days. On a long-term perspective, a lot of these things are looking at 5x potential just to get back to the all-time high. And a lot of these projects which I personally have invested in, I don't see that all-time high as being the final high. So, my kind of thesis on that is not to worry about this short-term situation and kind of just take it as an advantage to kind of reposition your portfolio in a way that kind of suits what you want to do. I've been focusing on quality, generally trying to get into kind of quality layer ones and things that I believe that are kind of safe to hold, kind of reducing some of my holdings and other kind of layer twos and layer threes that maybe a bit more speculative. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting anyway in my little world.
Yeah. And Chris, I was interviewed by Bloomberg last week, and one of the things that and actually another one last night talking about the metaverse, and I've been pretty consistent saying that whatever you think is happening in crypto, if it's DeFi, if it's NFTs, if it's the metaverse, it's all happening on a blockchain. All 100% of it, all the adoption that's occurring is happening on a blockchain. So I think you've been really smart about this and looking at, okay, well, if there are ecosystems sitting on top of blockchains, which are those blockchains, right? And you talked about the layer ones. So for those who are uninitiated, layer one means the kind of protocol layer. That's like Ethereum. The ERC20 blockchain sits on top of the Ethereum token. So you can actually buy a piece of these ecosystems or a piece of the blockchain themselves. So it's a great way to think about it. Does anyone else have any views that they'd like to share about investing in crypto or even investing in traditional markets? I'm open to hear what people's strategies have been over the last couple of months. I feel like Chuck, you must have something to say, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Shy bunch. Don't have a mic, sorry. Chuck, you can actually type your response just down in the chat. That's totally fine.
How's it going, guys? You all right?
Hey there.
How's it going? I'm Sam.
Hey, Sam. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with times like this, you just have to hold your nerves and be as patient as you can. Try and diversify into multiple assets, whether it's traditional like gold and silver seem to be doing well in the last few weeks, or with crypto and stuff. Try and diversify as much as you can. Try get coins that you can stake with as well. So even when the market's quite bearish, you're still getting some kind of returns on your coins if you're holding. And yeah, just try going as cheap as possible. Right now is a great opportunity to buy in. It might dip a bit further, but I guess you just got to hold your gut and see what the market will bring out.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, the staking comment. Sam, what are the best platforms for people that want to get into staking?
There's various that I use personally. Crypto.com is quite good because the interface is just very simple for a beginner and stuff. Binance is good. The rates are a lot better than Crypto.com. On Coinbase, some coins actually stakes automatically for you, like Algo and can't remember the other ones, but it stakes literally automatically just by holding those coins. You can stake, and then obviously on the Clarity app as well, you can stake the native Dfinity token with a rate of 12%.
It's fantastic. We'll have to follow in your footsteps and launch our own staking pool soon.
Why not?
Fantastic. And so Chuck has just said, so Chuck has a comment. He doesn't have his microphone attached, so we can talk about what Chuck has said, and he can maybe type some comments in response. So he said, market is in a rally right now. Is it a sucker's rally? And I'll share what I think, and I'd love to hear if there's anyone else at the table who has views. And don't worry, Chuck, you didn't miss out on the earlier discussion. I think whether or not it's a suckers rally, probably too early to tell. It will take, I would say, weeks for us to figure out a direction of travel. And one thing that I'm interested to see is what happens with the equity markets. At the top, it was kind of discussed that crypto looks oversold on just about every metric we've got. So a rally, even in a bear market, you can expect a rally if things get sold too much, which frankly, I think we did see yesterday with 33K Bitcoin. So I'm watching the equity markets. I think the equity markets are not as oversold as crypto. So I would expect that through the year, there might be more pain on that side of things. Of course, Bitcoin, and I'd love to hear views on this specific point that I'm going to say. Bitcoin is designed as this deflationary, scarce good that's supposed to behave like gold. And it's all of a sudden become more like a Tesla. And I'd love to hear if anyone has any views about whether it will start behaving like gold instead of behaving like Tesla, and what the drivers might be for something like that. So if anyone has any views on that, love to hear your thoughts.
Hey, Hayden, it's Manu. Yeah, look, I've got a couple of brief views. I think you asked a question earlier, and I think Paul unfortunately got disconnected regarding stock to flow in terms of valuation metrics. I think it's a great valuation metric, and essentially its origin is from gold and natural resources. So it's and again, the only difference is that Bitcoin is exponentially more volatile than gold. I guess in terms of your question around will it become more like gold in the future, I think the answer is yes. But don't forget, we are so early in this process. Yeah, I remember I was stupidly a shareholder who sold my Amazon shares at less than $50. And the reason I sold them was because they fell 90%. This is Amazon. When was a good time to sell Amazon? Never. It's exactly the same with where we are here. You know, I think in 10 years we'll be kicking ourselves saying, why the hell didn't we buy everything we could at $36,000? Because it will be exponentially higher. So I think 100K is just the beginning. Also, again, you know, in my day job, I do speak to a lot of banks, and every single bank I'm speaking to is setting up a crypto trading desk. Now, that's not because they think it's a cool thing to do. That's because they are being told to do this by their clients. So I think this is just, you know, institutional adoption of crypto hasn't really started in my eyes. So we all have a chance as private investors to front run the banks for the first time in history. So that's an interesting opportunity. And so I think what's going to happen is I think you're right. I think this year is going to be extremely volatile, but I think there's going to be some amazing opportunities between, certainly if I'm hoping this is either the base or close to the base, between now and September, we are going to see some phenomenal moves.
Yeah, I fully agree. So we have another question from Chuck. What prices can we accumulate at? Sorry, I had a cough. I've tested. Below 35K, below 30K. I was hoping for it to hit below 30K. Look, I think, you know, my personal view, Chuck, is that I have multiple bullets to fire. And so for me, statistically, I'm likely to be wrong some of the time. And my fiance probably would have a view on what percentage of the time that is. I won't share that view, but I tend to think about trading like, well, if I'm wrong on this one, I need to make sure I have some ammunition to be right on the next one. So I think the numbers you're looking at, below 35, below 30, I think anywhere between 30 and 35 is a reasonable place to accumulate. But of course, you don't want to fire all your bullets at once. And the next question is, what are our plans for the, excuse me, the follow token in the next 12 months? Any plans for new pools for LP tokens? What's the timeline for L2 and Polygon? So I'll take those in order. So the plan for the follow token, I think first and foremost is going to include activating our wallet functionality so that we could start charging users and we could start monetizing to pay the traders. Traders are a very important part of our ecosystem, and we want to make sure that they can get paid. And of course, staking pools are part of that. So LP pools as well as single asset staking pools. So we're very close to the end of our journey with both the staking pool. We're actually going to be launching some staking pools from our own website. So we're building I guess a Web3 connection, which will mean that our customers can actually get access to all of this stuff directly without having to use a partner. So some of the feedback that we've had has been that some of our partner staking programs have had, you know, a few issues. People don't like having to log in and check. So we've decided to actually make that, front and center on our website. So you'll notice it's actually been a few months. The reason that we've waited a few months is that we're actually just in the process of developing that staking functionality native to the Alpha Impact platform. So it's we're kind of on both sides of the fence. We've got a centralized layer that we're building to connect with centralized trading venues for exchanges with no gas fees, and we've also got a decentralized part that the staking pools will be part of. So I think having the wallet infrastructure, having the staking pools, and giving incentivization is very important. We're also going to be launching a series of subscriptions, and the way that I tend to think, Chuck, about our token is that in the event that we ever go out to customers and offer them the ability to buy stuff, whatever we're selling, there's likely to be multiple layers, and some of the layers and some of the most exclusive content is only ever going to be redeemable for our tokens. So of course, these are things that take time. And look, I'll be the first to say, building this stuff is very complex. We also don't want to build stuff that is broken. We don't want to get hacked. We've seen companies run by people that we know that have had major issues. So that's kind of our thinking around, how we think about actually building stuff, as well as our plans for the token and staking pools. Layer 2 and Polygon, that is, I would say, sometime in February, possibly March. Let me get back to you on the exact timing, Chuck. But great questions. And if anyone else has any questions, let us know. Otherwise, we'll close off in about 4 or 5 minutes. So any other questions, comments, feedback, anything for the guys at Dfinity?
Yeah, I had a little quick question, just a bit more about the roadmap in terms of kind of like monetization and what kind of things you're expecting from the users. With any kind of like metrics, kind of gauging what kind of usage you'd be expecting in the first kind of few months and things like that. If you have any more information to share.
Yeah, great question. So I'll be honest, we're pretty heads down just getting the wallet infrastructure finalized. It's actually not that complicated. Well, I say that as a non-engineer. So I think to be very truthful, where we are today is that without the ability for traders to get paid, we haven't, and with our commodity trading being manual, we're moving towards automatic. So there's some things that we're waiting for, Chris, and that has affected that. Excuse me. Plus, the market has affected our desire to really go hard with advertising. So something that is 100% happening this year, and I don't know if it's going to be in 2 weeks or 2 months or 6 months, is that we will spend a meaningful amount of capital on advertising. We've done small advertising runs in different formats, different banners, different sizes, different sites to figure out where we get the best conversion, and we've figured out a plan. But we really, Chris, just to be really clear, we haven't really pulled the trigger on that. And the reason is because without the wallet infrastructure, I think people will come on, and customers who are coming across a platform that doesn't charge any money look at it different. You look at it like, oh, well, I'll come back later. I'll figure it. I'll do it on the weekend. I'm not going to take it seriously. Whereas if we ask people to pay, we can actually have a value proposition that we make to the customer. So I can appreciate it's taken some time, but we want to make sure that when we actually start advertising, we've got an amazing platform that users can quickly identify, okay, this makes sense to me, and this is relevant. So we have, in terms of adoption, several thousand users. We're growing organically. We haven't done a lot of advertising. That will change. I'm expecting that once we start doing really heavy advertising, we'll start to really exponentiate the user base. And just to be very clear, even if it is a worst case scenario, bear market goes down another 50%, we're not going to wait. So we'll be going forward with this advertising one way or another this year, because I'm not going to ask anyone to wait until 2023. That's ridiculous. I've been waiting to travel without restrictions. I don't want to make people wait for my own platform where I'm the CEO. So I hope, Chris, that clarifies a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. Definitely clarified a few of the thoughts I had in my head.
Yeah, thank you. And we appreciate you being part of the ecosystem. It's look, we don't want to start advertising when the platform is, 90% where we want it to be. And we also don't want to have we don't want to have an ecosystem where we start advertising if there's bugs. If we piss people off, if people show up on our platform and they can't withdraw, they can't deposit, things don't load. There are other CEOs that I know, and look, I'm an investor. I've invested in companies that have prioritized for speed, and unfortunately, the experience for customers tends to be polarizing. So we'd rather have a great experience for our customers. So a couple more comments here, and then we'll close it off in a few minutes. So Shahab says, hi, Hayden, FTX is a good platform. Are we going to see light mode in FTX Pro app? Well, Shahab, I hope you know we're not the FTX team. So we are not responsible for what happens on the FTX app. I have the FTX app, and I don't know if they have a light mode, but it looks like they don't. But we are not the developers of the FTX app, so you will have to ask FTX about that. Chuck, last question for me. Any timeline to list FOLO on a centralized exchange? Hoping to accumulate more at this price. Well, good news, Chuck. The gas fees are very low. I did a transfer earlier today. It cost $6 US, not 60, not 16, 6. It was $6.40 USD for gas. So gas fees are pretty low right now. We do plan on listing on a centralized exchange. I think for us, actually, there's some that we're talking to. Plans to grow the company, to grow the user base, to grow really everything. And for us to go and try to list on a centralized exchange, I want that to happen in line with a big announcement, right? So the good news is we've been writing code for a very long time now. So I feel that we're, in the kind of last mile of the marathon. And Shahab, I thought it is the Alpha Impact. No, Shahab, we are not FTX, but hey, we know the FTX guys. They're, I guess, in Bahamas now. We wish them well. Lihan, can we describe the expectations on 2022? So Lihan, there was a slide about this, so I'll just go through quickly, and you can check back on the video a bit later. But at a very high level, we're launching, actually, let me just refer to my slides. We're going to be launching in 2022 staking pools. We're launching monetization for our traders to actually get paid. We'll be incorporating new payment methods. We're building a referral program. We're launching a subscription service for our top 100 users. That's by invite only. So for our top 100 traders, people from trading firms, experts, really for the very top people. So if you're interested in an invitation, please let us know. And then, of course, automatic copy trading and lots and lots of other stuff. So it's been a very busy year for us, and we're very, first 25 days of the year, it's always busy, but very happy to be here with you. So thank you very much, everyone. It's really lovely to spend time with you here in the Metaverse. I think this is way better than YouTube. It seems cooler. So just a friendly reminder for those for our next events, you have to come to the table. If you're outside, you won't hear what's happening. And Chris, I'll back channel to you on this about the exclusive group. So Happy New Year, Happy Lunar New Year, Gongxi Fatsai, which means hope you get rich, which is an appropriate thing for us to be wishing each other at this stage. So Happy Lunar New Year, and thank you everyone for joining. I'll stick around for a few minutes if anyone wants to ask any last minute questions. Otherwise, we'll be closing off the session and the recording in about 1 or 2 minutes. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Chris, if you want to stay, I can talk to you about this subscription.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Hayden, I checked the Alpha Impact page on LinkedIn, and there was FTX, and there was some improvements of the ftx.com. So I think it belonged to the Alpha Impact.
So the Alpha Impact app lets you trade on FTX, but we FTX is a different business, and we are not FTX. So our platform connects to their platform. So if you're a customer of FTX, you can connect your FTX account to Alpha Impact, but we are not FTX. I wish we were FTX, but we're not them.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you. So
Okay, thanks so much.
Hayden, just apologies about my system crashing there. Then it all delayed, so I wasn't sure what you could hear and what you couldn't hear. So, but I guess that's the nature of my first attempt. It's still been fun to be in the metaverse. So thank you very much, for having us on.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Okay, great. I'll ask our marketing team to stop the broadcast, please.
Yeah, I thought I'd just share something as well. Thanks for sharing earlier, Paul. I actually happened to study at City University, and I actually did study a TA course. I don't believe it was you who taught me. It's probably someone you probably didn't know quite well. But yeah, it was actually probably the first beginnings of all my trading career, albeit a little while until I actually started getting going.
Brilliant. When was that? Because I was teaching in the sort of early 90s.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So I studied